Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back once again to Fat Cat Collection. Today I got another great watch for you guys. This one is killer. One of these watches that's really unique and just something I kind of look for when it comes to watches. Now, this is another Dartmouth brand. This is a company called Thomas Earnshaw, and they have a whole slew of watches. I don't know how many they have in their lineup, but man, they have a ton. The closest company I can kind of compare this to, and I'm not saying as far as quality, but as far as the look, kind of reminds me of Sterling. Again, I think the quality of Earnshaw is better than Sterling, but they have a lot of skeletonized watches and a lot of different automatics. So very cool. So let me just show you guys the watch first, and we're gonna talk about it. Check this out. So this is absolutely stunning. This is one of these watches that, you know, when I see stuff like this, I gotta get my hands on it. So again, Dartmouth, awesome. Nice of to send me this in for review. And this is called their Martineau. I think I'm saying that right. It's M-A-R-T-I-N-E-A-U. And this is reference number ES 8275-11. Sometimes I mention that, sometimes I don't. And this one's called the Scarlet Ice. And the Scarlet Ice refers to the color variation. This is absolutely killer. So a lot of times I've mentioned, you know, in other videos when it comes to watches with crystals or ice, right? Oh, I gave you a peace sign. It's ice. You know, ice is generally referred to as any kind of crystal or gemstone. Basically, diamonds is kind of a slang for ice. Bling bling, you know what I mean? This has it. And a lot of times when guys are looking for watches with that look, and ladies too, definitely a unisex watch, absolutely. You know, a lot of times it's hard to find good quality watches with those gemstones. Hence why I was so excited for the Duxo line with a lot of their Submariner Homage watches coming out with a lot of cool crystals on them. It's, you know, like I said, I've been looking for years at watches. You know, that's why one reason I got excited about the Bulova Octava in that black on black with the black Swarovski crystals. You know, you just don't find stuff like that for a reasonable price. Anytime you start getting involved in anything iced out, most of the time you have two different options. You go with the real deal and spend thousands and thousands of dollars. You go with something like Freeze Diamond watches or Techno Ice or brands like that, which are actually giving you really teeny diamond chips, and really a watch that's not of the best quality. It's okay, but generally they're not using 316 stainless steel. Some of them do, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying every single watch, but a lot of them don't. They just feel kind of tinny. Then you have brands like Invicta, which they do sometimes, but not, you know, you don't see a lot of the colors. It's either clear or black. Invicta has done some pretty cool gemstone additions, but it's really hit or miss. So like I said, that's why when you see something, take advantage of it, get it. Other than that, if you're going to go with the other option, you look at brands like Hello Ice and like Iced Out Planet and all these different kind of hip-hop style watches that in my experience, they are cool, don't get me wrong, but you're paying for that look and not necessarily the quality, you know. You pick them up, they don't feel like a pro diver. And that's kind of like how I base quality off of. You know, what material is it? Is it 316 stainless steel? You know, are you getting that Invicta Pro Diver, Pagani design, Addy's Dive quality for that price point with the stones, you know? And with this, you definitely are. This is fantastic. Price on this too is incredible right now. Links are in the description. $209. I mean, for an automatic wristwatch in stainless steel with this kind of look, that's an exceptional value. When you're looking at other brands doing this, they charge a lot more. So absolutely fantastic. Check out the close-ups, and I'll throw some pictures up here during the video. This is, again, called the Scarlet Red, and that's because of the red stones. I kind of look at this as more rubies, but I will tell you that the stones in this, they do have more of a scarlet-ish. They're more of like a deep maroon, like a blood red, than I'd say like ruby. From that I could tell. But honestly, from a distance, you know, you might as well call them synthetic rubies. And what they say about this, they say bold, striking, and sophisticated. That is subjective. Basically, it commands attention, etc., etc. And the important thing is that they've put precious Austrian crystal stones and mother of pearl. So when I'm looking at this, I'm not sure where the mother of pearl is. I think they mean on this outer ring around the skeletonized face there. That is mother of pearl. Although, you know, if they didn't mention that, I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference. It just looks white. But it is mother of pearl. And then you have Looks like you have some clear stones on the actual indices. Pretty cool on that kind of gold-plated, you know, indices there. And of course, the different color clear and that we'll call it ruby style or ruby colored stones. Really cool. A screw down case back with that awesome exhibition window. All 316 stainless steel, dual push button deploying butterfly clasp. You know, some folks have said good and bad about these. I've never had any little plastics on there. I've never had any issues. The cool thing about a butterfly clasp is you have a band or a bracelet that basically is fluid all the way around. There's no gaps, there's no buckle. I like them both. You know, they're both nice. Only thing with this I'd say is that this is a little bit more prone to possibly popping off. But I don't really, you know, some people really, I don't know what they're doing in their life, but I've never really had that happen to any of my watches. And then, God forbid, if you did something where it just kind of pinched, you know, and opened up, I just don't think it will. You know, you pop it back on. It's not the end of the world. So, very cool. We have mirror polishing down the center links. These appear to be, from what I can tell, all solid end links, all solid center links, all solid, we'll call those exterior links. You know, nice milled clasp. I mean, it's a great looking watch. Nice quality. Definitely checks the boxes. And this is just definitely one for the collection. Without actually getting like, this is kind of similar to a Submariner, you know what I mean? But I wouldn't say this is a Submariner homage, but it is very similar in design. It's simple, it's clean, it's your most basic wristwatch design. We could call it a homage to a Timex, for God's sake. So, but this is absolutely fantastic. The bezel on it does rotate, surprisingly. You know, you don't have any markers on that, but I think it's still cool. They got that nice rotating bezel. I guess you can line up the colors where you want. They could have made it fixed, but I think the reason they did that is because this watch is also available in a non-crystal bezel or non-crystal version. So very cool looking watch. Now, as far as colors, you may not be a fan of the Scarlet. It is available in several color variations. As of right now, at the time of this video, we have the Glacier Blue, we have the Lavender, which is really nice, like a baby pink. Definitely leaning a little bit more feminine, but you know, a man can rock that. I think I requested that one. Lime Crystal is going to be that emerald green and clear stones with the yellow, gold, and silver bracelet. Then, of course, we have the two-tone rose and violet stones, rose tone case. And then the other ones here just tend to be, I'm not sure why they even have it on the same page under the listing, or under the, I searched for Martin. Yeah, so that one's actually called the Martin. This is called the Martineau. I think I'm saying that correctly. But if you do search for Martin, you'll see these other 4 variations pop up. It's technically a different watch. Now, they may make somewhere on their site something very similar to this that, you know, is the same watch minus the stones, but I'll tell you, this is an incredible watch. The Earnshaw brand does come with a 24-month warranty, you know, safe and secure checkout, all the other nonsense we read about. Let's talk about the real important information here. Let's talk about the specs. So let me see what they have listed here, because we know with the Dartmouth brands, they're not the best at updating their website with up-to-date information. All right, so this is just another classic example. We do have stainless steel case and bracelet material. That's good. 40 millimeter, let me put it in view here, 40 millimeter case thickness, 14 millimeter in case, 40 millimeter in case diameter, 14 millimeter in case thickness. So we do have a nice tall wrist presence. I do like that. We do have the Earnshaw logo on the crown. We don't have it on the bracelet, but we do have it on the case back. It's kind of hard to see, but there is a big Earnshaw logo right on the crystal, or the clear case back. 20 millimeter solid stainless steel bracelet, 5 ATMs of water resistance, and a watch weight they have listed, which is really interesting to me. A lot of companies don't list the weight. Dartmouth seems to sometimes put information on here that most people are like, yeah, I don't really care about, and then the important stuff they forget. So I hope that at some point we can really get these changes made. But 120 grams in weight. Movement is just an automatic 3-hand movement. Now, based on my experience here, you know, I don't really feel comfortable giving you guys an assessment on what I think this movement is, but it's definitely not a Seiko H35 that I can tell. I'm kind of guessing here. This might be a seagull of some sort, but again, don't quote me on that. I have no idea, and that is unfortunately going to be a deal breaker for some folks. Just remember, guys, just because a watch doesn't have a Seiko or an Etta or a Valjoux, it doesn't mean that the seagulls are bad movements at all. Seagulls are great movements. Remember, this is, you know, some folks will argue with me that watches are really complicated, and No pun intended. But, you know, I just don't think they're as complicated as people make them out to be, especially in modern manufacturing with modern technology. You know, I think that a Seagull movement can be every bit as good as a Seiko or a Valjoux or anything. I'm sure there's watch professionals out there could give me valid reasons on why one might be a little better, but it doesn't mean this is horrible. You know what I mean? This doesn't mean this isn't a great movement that's going to last you for years. I have many Seagull movements in my collection. They're all great. I know Sterling uses a lot of Seagulls in their movements, or in their watches, but, you know, don't let that dissuade you. In time, if I can get this information, I will share it in the description. But as far as right now, I mean, honestly, this is a great watch. You really can't go wrong with the look. You know, I mean, absolutely stunning. That is subjective, of course, but gentlemen, you know, getting a nice quality watch with those gemstones, really hard to find without going into some of the, you know, like I said, you can find them in Aragon's done it, other brands have done it, Bulova, but when I compare this, even to my Bulova, not the Precisionist, but compare this to my Bulova Octava, even though the Bulova Octava is a cool watch, it's a quartz, it's got the black crystals on it, I like it. Those watches go for close to $400 or $500. I got a killer deal on mine, but you know, most of the time you're up close to $300. And I honestly think this is a better quality watch than that Bulova. This is more on par with like the Precisionist. Again, different movements, different accuracy, all that stuff. But I really don't think you're gonna lose on this one here for $209. Now, gentlemen, you may not like the red. I think the most masculine variation of this is going to be that blue, and I'm really hoping. I did request the green, and I did request the blue. I think I requested the lavender as well. We'll see if it gets sent. I expected them here this week, but I didn't see them, so I'm not sure. You know, sometimes these things sell out. As always, guys, pick this one up. I know a few dudes who watch me who are going to be like, man, you're making me spend too much money. But it's a sweet watch. As far as like the crystals, I can't tell if they're, you know, the spacing of it, they're nice and tight. You know, other watches I've seen that have a crystal bezel that are affordable, like many of the Duxos even, you know, the spacing on, they're more of like a square stone. These are more rectangular, and you have a lot more of them. So this sucker is just going to gleam in the light. Check it out. If this may not be your cup of tea, cool, but I think most of the dudes who like the flashy stuff are going to dig this. So I am about 5'8". I weigh about 182 pounds. I have a 7-inch wrist. This is what it looks like on a guy my size, my height, and my weight, and get an idea of how this sucker is going to look on you. Definitely one for the collection. And, you know, like I said, guys, you know, I rock the big watches, but I also rock the small ones. I'm glad they didn't go under this size. You know, when we start to get into 38s, 39s, I start to kind of move away from those because, in my opinion, I'm not saying that a guy can't wear those watches. You know, I don't want to make it sound like that or, you know, try to diss anybody in any way whatsoever. But I do think that once you get into a smaller watch, it does start to get a little feminine. I think 40 millimeter is really kind of the cutoff for me. Now, I do have like an older Timex. It's super small. You know, I think older family kind of things that have been passed down. I remember back in the day, you go back 30, 40 years, watches were a lot smaller. And as time has gone on, you know, we see watch sizes getting larger and larger. Does that mean that eventually you're not going to see small watches, 40 millimeter? Absolutely not. This isn't a small watch. It's just, you know, a more standard size. I think you're going to see a lot of other companies doing what Invicta's doing in making big watches. They may not do as many as Invicta. Brands like Aragon have kind of backed away from big watches, actually. But really, still 4750, that's still a big watch. We see Rolex doing it now with their new Deep Sea at 50 millimeters. So it's nice that companies, you know, I like when a company provides something for everyone. You know, I think it's great because everybody likes something different. I mean, stones, no stones, gold, no gold, you know, big, small, whatever it may be. It's great that companies offer value, exceptional quality, you know, and just, you know, different options. So this is definitely one of them. Check it out. Let me know what you guys think. Drop me a comment. Drop me an email. I'm always here to help you guys out. As always, do subscribe to the channel. And if you have any questions, whatever, you know, whatsoever, making a purchase, whatever, again, link is in the description. But if I can help you in any way, I'm always here to help out. So anyway, guys, happy holidays. Have a great day and take care.